What's going on, everyone? So in this video I'm going to recommend some really OP teams for the Challengers Arena right here. I do recommend everyone at least try it. The reward is really good. Every single win, up to 10 wins, you will get, each win you will get one of these. So we all should know how rare enchant packs are. It even tells you it's rare. So they're really hard to get. And every 3 wins, 7 wins, and 10 wins. Okay, so the rewards are amazing. I don't even know if you can buy these with like real money. You probably can't buy this amount. Okay, so it's a free event, and every single heroes is already built for you. 6 stars. They don't have the best enchant, but all the soldiers are already maxed out. And the class right here, you can change them. Okay, you can change to your desired class, and of course they come in different stats. And then if you click on these, there are also different skills. So I'll also go through what I think would be their best gear and best enchant one by one. So now let's look at the teams first. So don't look at my team. My team is like asking to struggle, but I definitely like, because this thing lasts for a week. I probably won't, if I cannot get that 10 wins, I probably would go to a more OP teams, the teams that I'm going to recommend to you guys. But other than that, I'm really enjoying my team right now. So now let's take a look at the heroes. Okay, so honestly, there is not many options. It's very like meta from season 3 to 5, I would say. So if you have Landius, if you have Juggler, something like this with 1 healer, like basically this is already a very strong team. So you can just add whoever you feel comfortable. If you feel like you don't need your faction buffer, you want a universal faction buffer, then Akka fits in really well. And if you are not comfortable, or if you want to purely counter against AoE, then you can use Betty. And if you want to tank push straight up, using Rachel is also really good, because now even if your healer is bad, you have 2 semi-healers here to help you sustain. There's basically just like this here, you can add in any 2 heroes, honestly. If you feel comfortable with just a semi-healer or no healer, then you don't have to add in any. So that's one team. So tank push in general, with all these heroes provided, tank push is like super strong. Super strong. The reason why is because there are no assassin. The only assassin is him, D-Heart, and he kinda sucks. So if you don't build him as, you can build him Royal Knight, which I do not recommend because Royal Knight is kinda useless. So if you build him as assassin, if you use Faceless, Twilight, and Stinger, maybe you can kill. I haven't tested myself, but there are people telling me that he is lacking. But I think with this full setup, you are probably capable of killing. If you feel like you don't need that breeze, you can also use Rough Sea, and Rough Sea should help you kill. Meteor, I'm not too sure. Okay, so there's no assassin. So assassin would be pretty good too. But you probably need to find a team that works around him, and he pretty much only has this as an option for faction buffer. Okay, so the second team I'm going to recommend is Dark Faction. Is super strong here. So if you have this, he is underrated. He's really good. He makes things happen, and I think this team is very strong already. You probably can add a healer, or you don't have to. Basically, whoever touches you first, you know, one of these 4, then you're good to go. So you can add in anyone, probably not Sonya unless there's Juggler, because I think this Sonya is strong enough to one-shot, maybe. If you do use Bone Dino, maybe. Okay, so now another setup would be Rainforest is pretty good. but you need to ban out the Bracer. There's a lot of heroes who can use Bracers, such as Bozo, Juggler, even Landius can use Bracer. Like, I don't know why. I think that's a little bit too OP. And then there's Listo, of course. Listo is really, really hard to kill. And then now there's another, if you want to play Glory, I think Glory is also really good. I'm using Jero right now. Like, Jero and Lena, they are actually pretty good. They are a little bit, like, I think people underestimate their power, even myself, but when I use them, they heal so much and dispel full screen. I was amazed. So if you want to play like a Glory faction, this can be a really strong team in my opinion, or at least if my current strategic team doesn't work, this is the team I'm gonna go with, because I feel like nobody's gonna use this. Assassin Dihar, and this is a really good tank push team in my opinion. Then you can put in, do you really need 2 tanks? Probably not. And then Akka and Jero. I think this would be a good team. And then now if you want to do single target, this team is super strong. Maybe you still want to use this. And then I can add in whoever. I think this team is great. You don't always have to have a tank, but some people do prefer playing really safe to have a tank. And you can add in Juggler. Like, this one is also really OP. Okay, now let's, but yeah, in my opinion, most likely you will be finding these similar teams when you climb. And trust me, I think those are probably the best. It'll make your life much easier. But if you do, actually no, don't bother struggling. Okay, so let's look at builds right now. I think builds here, you can go with the mage, but I do recommend going with the horse. And this is probably the best setup. Full Moon Breeze Rough Sea doesn't really matter. She's more like a support type. You probably won't get to use her to attack too often. Okay, Angelina here. I think Full Moon would probably gives her the best potential. If you want to be annoying with her 3C, Clock would do. And then the last one, you already have Last Right, so I think this might be a little bit overkill, but this is but if you have to fight against Juggler with a Bracer, then this is for that. But other heroes such as, okay, there's also, yeah, there's pretty much only Bozo with Last Right and Bracer and Listo. So if you want to, you know, fight against that, you can use that. But if you want more attack, these two will work. Swordmaster gives you less defense but more attack. So if it depends if you want more attack or if you want more defense. I think her attack is good, but the enchant is not strong enough to kill anything. So maybe you want to go Empress to take hits. And I don't think she has Bracer. Oh, she does have Bracer. Yes, so Bracer is also very good on her. Like, all the tanks have Bracer. Okay, Bozo. Bozo here, the default class is Mage in this mode, but Death Lord Demon is actually better. There's not many holy heroes, so you don't need to use Mage like in Apex. And this is possibly the best setup. Oh, Miracle Staff here. I don't use him, but Miracle Staff with Clock, can't go wrong. Doesn't do a lot of damage, but debuff City, perfect. Dihar, I recommend using Assassin. You guys saw the setup earlier. Terrace, whatever, healer. You guys should know. Okay, Young Jessica here. Up to you. Probably not Star Earring, not necessary. There's only one assassin in the whole game, and there's no archer. I do recommend using, what the hell? Let me go out. I do recommend using the Scepter of the Divinity, so she hits really far. I think 5 range at most. Okay, I don't like this. You can't just quit. Okay, now Juggler, the regular common setup. This one you can use Thorn, whatever. I don't use him. I haven't changed his setup, but you can use whichever you prefer. Okay, this one here, if you want to use them as a healer, you should use Holy. I'm also using Holy because I do assume the better players would change Lolly Bozo and Bozo to Demon, then this way I can counter. So this is my setup, because honestly I don't need Star Earring. This one here is not for healer, so this one here I might be able to squeeze in some more healing. Okay, Landius, these are, you can use Overlord Badge, you can use Bracer, Common Step. Probably not really necessary changing him to Grand Marshal, because not many, there's a lot of infantry. There's quite a lot of infantry and not a lot of Lancer, probably aside from Freya, or you can counter Landius with Lancer Landius. Him here, this is probably the most common when it comes to the setup. Oh my god, it's annoying. Rainforest, I think it's kind of fair. If they gave him the accessory, the exclusive, he'll be a little bit OP here, which they didn't give it to him. I'm a little bit disappointed, but Apex Boots would do. And Rachel put Scepter of Divinity, and then you can use this. I didn't change anything yet, but you definitely don't need the Star Earring. And True Cross, if you want her to be a semi-healer, maybe. Okay, Lolly Bozo, use Demon. I would recommend using this, because there's not many healers, and this will provide more damage and more healing with this setup. The only person that can really give you silence are like these two. And Listo, the common setup. Weiler, this would do, or if you want more Dispel. Sigma here though. Sigma, there's no SP class, and this is pretty common, pretty strong, but he's just not really good in this mode in my opinion. Okay, Ultimiller, max attack. Okay, Knight of Mystery is really good. I think she fits in both faction really well. And with this you can break Last Rite, you can potentially one-shot Juggler. I did try it, lacking a little bit of damage. And then Renata here. This is probably the most common. Or you can use Overlord Badge. Okay, Egbert, I like him a lot. And here is my tips here. You probably don't want to use Clock if you're using Dimensional Jewel. If you're using Fedaros, you want to use Clock. The reason why is because his 3C here has a cooldown of 2 turns when you're using a skill to deal damage. So when you go in to use an AoE, so let's say here, Acid Burn is 3 rounds. If this procs, that's already 3 rounds. So if you have Clock, that might be, if it clocks and this, so either one or the other, sure, you probably have a better chance to secure that cooldown to get another shot like right away, but maybe it's not too necessary because his damage is really lacking here, and I think Full Moon gives him the best damage output. Don't recommend using Magic, because Magic is pretty much only for AoE, well, skill damage too, but I think Full Moon is probably the most optimal. Magic is okay. Okay, Freya. I think Freya kind of suck as a tank here because no SP Freya, but I don't use her enough to like give much comment, but I don't think she's really good when it comes to these against these heroes. Too many debuffers. She's probably gonna just sit there. And then Lifany, just common setup, accessory. Yeah, Sonya, also the common setup. Lance, I think Lance is pretty interesting, but it might be hard to pull him off. But if you do want to use him, you're probably best, instead of going Rag, you want to go with Peacemaker against tanks like Landius, and you can potentially one-shot and prevent him from reviving. But I probably would give him a shot. I always wanted to build Lance, but I never build him. Lack of resources, and I never bought this exclusive. So there's a good chance to use him in PvP. Alright guys, so that's pretty much it. I hope you guys give it a shot. It's actually quite fun. I like it more than Apex Arena because it's less overwhelming, I would say. But yeah, the teams that I recommend it, trust me, use those teams, and you don't have to think too much like Apex. Less matchup knowledge involved. It's more about like what team you use than your strategy, in my opinion, because there's only so many heroes, and there's so many heroes, like less than half of the heroes are OP. Like, just use those OP heroes and then your day is just much easier, especially if you have 2 debuffer, go in, use your AoE, done. Listel, hard to kill, she's annoying. Yeah, alright guys, hope this video somehow helps and you guys find this insightful. Hope to see you guys, in some matches. Bye bye.